Good morning, I'm Eddie,
I'm Sarai
and we're the
Coronado.
Coronados.
So we had just gotten married. It wasn't something that we expected, or I expected. We were still both in Bible school, trying to graduate and get all that done. And there was one night where I just felt like, okay, I kept waking up and just different little things. I'm like, this can't be. I talked to a mentor of mine and she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. Took a test and we were pregnant. I told him. We made an appointment to go get a sonogram. So we got to the sonogram and he's sitting down next to me. The lady doing it, she's like, well, it's a good thing you're sitting down because it's twins. There's two in there. And I started crying. Like, I didn't even realize I was crying, but I started crying. And he's just like, why are you crying? I was like, I don't know.
I mean, I was ecstatic. She was crying, but I'm like, it's twins, right? It's perfect. And in my head, I was like, if it's a boy and a girl, we're done. So it was exciting. I was excited. All the emotions, nervous, unsure, but more than anything, I think I was excited and just ready and into anticipation for what was to come, because everything was it seemed like it was falling into place.
So we actually went to the clinic on the 19th because something felt weird. There was something going on. I didn't know what. I mean, it was my first time. I didn't know any of the feelings or symptoms, anything. I just knew that there was something weird going on. We went to the clinic and they checked me and they actually told me everything was fine. They said, you could probably have an infection. Don't worry about it. Go home. You're fine. We went home. He didn't work that day because of the appointment. So they offered him a job overnight. He left. I was fine. Went to bed early. By around maybe midnight, I started feeling what I now know it's contractions. Back then, like I said, I didn't know. So I just felt weird. There's something, it was hurting. Okay, let me try to move. And throughout the whole night, I kept waking up every 30 minutes and there was something wrong, something going on. It was 6 a.m. and I called him and I said, hey, like, this hurts, I can't sleep, something's going on. His mom took me to the hospital and they instantly just started putting all types of medicine on me. And he showed up. And by then I was so drugged up basically that I didn't know anything. I just knew that, hey, they're coming. They were gonna transport me from Waxahachie over to Fort Worth because they were still so young. I was 27 weeks. So they needed to take me to a better facility that, had the means to get the help for us that we needed. And after that, I don't remember much from that. But so I rely on him to remind me of everything that happened because of, just the state that I was in.
There's probably a 70% chance that your babies will survive, right? So there's a small chance that your babies won't make it. And at this time, I'm just thinking, I'm like, man, I serve a big God. I know that He can do anything, right? But just the human nature of it is like, hey, man, there's something's gonna mess up, right? Something's gonna go wrong. And at this time, it's I've called everybody that I need to call. Call my mom, call my parents, called her parents. We were in third day at the time, so I called Pastor Noe. And it's a large group in the hospital. It's a lot of us there, and it's probably about 8 o'clock at this point, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm delirious from not having slept at all. But I remember saying, hey, I need to try to go to sleep, but they tell me, hey, we're gonna do the emergency C-section now. So they rush her into the back room, and I go with her. It's just me and her, and they bring out the babies. It's Sophia first. She comes out first, and then how many minutes was it?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. It's 3 minutes afterwards. It's Eric.
They were all okay, right? We started getting to visit them every day. And it was 2 weeks after they were born that Eric got sick, which was actually the first day that he decided to go back to work because they're doing okay and we needed money, now we have 2 babies. And so that day, it was just me and my mom. She was staying with me to help me out. We show up to the hospital and he's crying. We had never heard them cry that loud before, so we were excited. We're like, he's crying, we can hear him cry. And within like 2 minutes of us getting there, the nurse noticed his cry and she's like, there's something wrong. She left, came back with like 3 or 4 more nurses. And from that day, I remember them just kind of swarming over to where he was at. And they just started doing different things and they told us there's something going on and we need to do different testing on him. It's like, okay. It was 1 day later and they took him into surgery. They realized that he had necrotizing enterocolitis, which was bacteria in his intestines. It was dying out. The surgery, they brought him in and they cut a big part of his intestines to see if it could heal and he would be okay. That didn't work. 2 days later, he went back into surgery. They did the same thing and it just wasn't working. So they kind of just told us we're gonna keep putting him on different medications and seeing how that goes. The surgeries aren't working, so we don't want to keep putting him through that. And at that time, I remember we were just so hopeful. We believed that God would do a miracle in him. We're like, we don't know why this is going on, but these are our babies. We have the perfect life. It's us two and a boy and a girl, and that he needs to be okay. She needs his brother. And I remember just thinking that, and a part of me just kind of started doubting, like, okay, what's going on? He's not getting better. Days passed and he got worse and worse. The medicine that they kept giving him caused him to just get very swollen. And he was at the point where he wasn't really moving much. We couldn't hold him anymore because we had been able to hold them before, and because of the state he was in, we weren't able to hold him anymore. So that was hard because, I wanted to hold him.
And it got to the point where I knew the Holy Spirit told me, hey, he's coming with me. And I was like, okay, God, that's what you're gonna do, that's fine. And I remember telling God, I'm like, but if you're gonna take him and Sophia's gonna stay, she needs to be okay. Like, we don't need to go through anything major with her, because if something happens to her and she's a year old or something, it's gonna be a lot worse. So if you're gonna take Eric, or if you plan on taking this Sophia soon, take her now, because we're not gonna be able to handle it. And that was my prayer for a long time. I'm like, you're taking one, but make sure the other one's okay. And a big part of me was like, okay, that's fine. You're taking my son. I'm okay with it. You told me it's gonna happen. I'll accept it, because at the end of the day, that's what you've told me, and I'm okay with that. And I remember telling Sarai, I'm like, he's probably not gonna make it. And I don't know if she remembers me telling her that, but I told her, I'm like, he's probably not gonna make it. And that's when I was like, God, this is what you want to do with our lives. That's fine. That's the cross that we'll bear. And whenever they told us there was nothing else that they could do, they would just, I don't even know if they used the word miracle, but they told us there was nothing else they could do. And in my spirit and in my soul, there was peace, because I was like, okay, at this point he couldn't even cry because of how much medicine he was in. I was like, that's fine, God, take away this pain that he's in, right? Let him suffer no more. So the moment came, and I remember telling God, I'm like, that's fine, but I am gonna do one more prayer and just pray that you give him life, and that not just life, but that he has a healthy life. And so we're in this room. They take us to this room with Eric, because they've taken him off of anything medically to help him, right? They're like, hey, it's time for him to go. And I told everybody to get out of the room, just me and Sarai. And we prayed for probably 20 or 30 minutes, just me, Sarai, and Eric in there. And it, God said no. God said no. And the biggest piece that I had was knowing that he wasn't going to suffer anymore. And yeah, he passed away in my arms. He took his last breath in my arms.
So I feel like the healing process for both of us was very different. I know, like I said, for me, I had guilt. I blamed myself. And I kind of just disassociated with everything. Like I said, I wasn't crying. I didn't want anyone around me. I remember during the funeral, when people were coming to offer their condolences, I kind of just hit on him because I didn't want anyone to talk to me. I didn't want anyone to hug me. I didn't want that. I was just so angry and upset. I didn't care to have anyone around me. I just wanted that day to be perfect for him and kind of just be for me and him and what we wanted. And I remember being angry, and it was actually my niece's birthday that day. She was turning 7, and I remember we tried to give her some happiness. We bought her some balloons. We didn't want that day to just be sad. After that, we kind of just tried to survive. We had a tiny little girl that was still in the NICU, and she still needed a lot of help, and she was on the ventilator. She wasn't still eating on her own, and I wasn't holding her until a nurse came, and she looked at me one day and she said, I don't care what you say, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna hold her. And I'm so grateful for her, because when she put Sophia in my arms, it brought just a glimpse of healing for me. That, like, just holding her, I didn't realize that it was gonna help me as much as it did. And seeing her just so little, I knew that I had to just get up and keep going. I remember there was one day we were staying at the Ronald McDonald House close to the hospital. And there was a ramp. And I don't know why I did this, but I remember I grabbed onto the ramp and I kind of ran and giggled and made a funny sound. And he looks at me and he just smiles. I'm like, what? He's like, it's the first time that you laugh.
Healing is a lifelong process, right? You're never gonna, at least on the human side, you're never gonna get over it, right? You just learn to live with it, and you learn to trust in God during those times. It's like whenever Paul said, hey, can you take this thorn from my side? And God says, my grace is sufficient. And that's what I lean on, because at the end of the day, if I don't live my life worthy of of the calling that he has for me. I'm not going to get to see my son again. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
One thing that I would say to someone in that place would be just don't let the anger get to you. It's so easy. It's the easy way. I know it. Like, it's so easy to just give up and be angry. And you start with God, but it kind of just starts flowing to everyone around you. To where you don't realize it, but you're angry at everyone and everything around you. And your life just becomes this dark place because you have, like, for me, it felt like I had this giant hole in my heart that was just black. And that's the easy way because it's hard to fight. It took so much strength. There was times where I was forcing myself to pray, and I would get so tired. I would sometimes feel like I was getting sick, and I knew it was just everything inside me that had been so used to being angry and upset and mad at God that it didn't want my spirit to just be free from that. And it took me getting to the lowest of my low to realize, hey, I need to just get over this and not be upset. And so, like, for me, I would tell someone, like, just don't give in. Keep fighting. It's gonna be hard, and that's okay. You're gonna be upset, and that's okay. It's gonna hurt. But that doesn't mean that you're forgetting. That doesn't mean that, everything that you're choosing to be happy about it's not gone. Like, the way I see it is I've chosen to not let my grieving take over my life. I still have my kids here that need me. And it would be so easy for me to just stay in bed and cry every day because I miss my son, because I wish he was here. But that's not the healthy way. For whatever reason, God chose this path for us, and I'm choosing to see the best in it. And I still praise him. I thank him every day because, hey, that means that he's in heaven and he is happy and he's healthy and he's not suffering. And I get to be here and take care of 5 beautiful little girls. And one day, if I raise them right, we're all gonna get to see him again. And that's hard. It's hard to choose that. But the easy way isn't the best way. So I choose to fight every day. And that's the best that I can do.